Good evening and welcome to Cafdil Healthcare here on Cafdil Television. Tonight we are going to discuss a bit about clinical psychologists, and later we will divert the conversation to a topic that is affecting most of the youth in Ghana, and that is drug abuse and drug addiction. You can join us on our social media handles, that is Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, and also YouTube, Cafdil EDU. My name is Kojo Arthur. My guests are already seated, and I will introduce them right after this break. Welcome back. If you just join us, this is Cafdil Healthcare on Cafdil Television. My guests tonight are Alfred Isel. He is a clinical health psychologist, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and Brianna Ama, also a psychology student at Cape Coast University of Cape Coast, and also Davis Dave. This name is it rhymes very well. Davis Dave. He is also health educator, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hope you are doing well.
Yes. By God's grace, we are all fine.
So, like I said, we're going to talk about drug abuse and drug addiction. But let me also, let myself and viewers get to know what exactly is a clinical psychologist. Who is a clinical psychologist is, and what sets this profession apart from other mental health roles.
Okay. Thank you to all the listeners, and good evening to all the listeners. A clinical psychologist is a professional who is trained to diagnose and treat mental health conditions. Yeah, and we have a lot of psychologists around, and not all of them can diagnose. Not all of them can give therapies. So that's what sets clinical psychology apart from the other psychologists.
You made mention of diagnosis. What do they actually diagnose?
We diagnose mental health issues like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, psychotic conditions, substance-related diseases, and the other mental health issues.
So that is exactly what you do on day-to-day.
Yes.
Oh, okay, day-to-day basis.
Together with psychological assessments.
Yeah. So especially when working with clients struggling with this addiction or abuse.
Yes. When we are dealing with persons who are into addiction, we first have to do or run assessment on the person to know the extent of the addiction, where it has gotten to, so that we can formulate case, know how to go about it, what therapy to give to such a person.
So what do you actually take them through? Take us through. How do you do that?
You mean the people into addiction?
Yes.
Well, it depends on the extent. How many years has the person been in the? Then we'll take the person to rehabilitation. Some people would need to be detoxified. Some have a lot of substance in them that they would have to go through a lot of detoxification before the rehabilitation can start.
Which means you do a lot.
Yes.
So how can one become a clinical psychologist? How does the journey look like for someone who wants to become a clinical psychologist? What kind of training or education is involved?
It starts from your bachelor's degree. You can do BSc in psychology or any other related psychology courses. Then from that you can do your master's in clinical psychology. You also have related courses in clinical psychology like health psychology, clinical health psychology. You can do all of that. You can pursue further to do your PhD in clinical psychology. So that is the profession.
Sitting here, can you diagnose? What can you what can you use our physique to determine whether someone is going through trauma or something of that? Can you do that? I mean, looking at somebody.
We do that because in the assessment we have clinical features. So per how you are looking, we can use that as a part of the assessment. It's just a part of the assessment. Then we can run psychological tests where you answer questionnaires and co. Yeah, so just looking at you wouldn't give me the full diagnosis, but it's part of it. So like we all know, if someone is gloomy, if someone is looking sad, you know that the person is going through a lot or is going through something that would need attention. So in the same way, when you come per your appearance, your facial looks, we can use that to detect, and it's just a part of it. Yeah.
You made mention of clinical health psychologist and clinical psychologist. I think I'm seeing two things here.
Yes.
What's the difference? What's the variation?
So clinical psychologists, they focus solely on mental health issues. So like depression, anxiety, stress, or the mental health issues. Clinical health psychologists will look at the connection, the association between mental health issues and physical conditions. I mean chronic diseases like HIV, diabetes, heart attack, hypertension and co. All those ones would have to look at how they impact on the person's mental health. But the clinical psychologist will focus solely on the depression part of the conditions.
I first asked you the journey, how the journey look like, but our brothers and sisters in secondary school, what you started with first degree, I mean university level.
Yes.
So what subjects that if someone want to venture into that, must the person get to know first the qualification from SHS level?
Mostly the schools.
What subject, what course must the person pursue at SHS before he can?
I did general arts at the secondary school level.
Okay.
Other people do a lot of different.
So irrespective
courses.
of your course, you
science
can
related, but we do statistics, and because of the assessment that we run,
okay.
so we also need mathematic background a bit. So general arts, science, and other courses.
Okay. Now, before I shift my conversation, let me ask this last question. Going to university, we all admire, the pay. I mean, the outcome. What do you call the intake? The salary that you are going to take,
yes,
and stuff. Everybody want to venture into where he or she can get money. Is it? do you have money? Is it paid well?
Like
I mean, this
me
course.
or
there's psychologists and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of money in it. You can get it personally. You can get it when you are employed by the hospitals.
Because most of the doctor, I will get. They pay well.
But
dentists, they pay well.
I think passion counts more than. Because we are going to deal with people, and without the passion.
You are talking about passion nowadays.
Yes.
Teaching, pay well. They pay a lot, right?
Yeah.
So you also pay. Well, thank you very much for educating us on this. Let me shift the conversation to a topic, like I said, affecting most of the youth in Ghana, particularly. So let me start off with you, Dave, right? So, could you explain what abuse and addiction are in general terms?
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to say good evening to everyone who is watching us, and then to thank God for this opportunity also. And today I'm very excited because at least we are about to talk about something that is really worrying us. But then most of the time what we do is we just brush it away like, oh, we ain't BBR, it's nothing to take it serious. Yes. So when we talk of abuse, in the first place, whenever we buy a mobile phone, you could see that in the box there is a paper. When you buy a charger, in the box there is a paper. When you buy this, in the whatever, there is a paper. So it means there is a way that you are supposed to use it. So when you end up not using it the way that you are supposed to use it, that is where abuse comes in. It means you are not using it in the right way, or the right parts that you are supposed to follow in order to be able to use the thing properly. You are not using it that way. So that is where abuse comes in. Yes.
In general terms. What about addiction?
Addiction is more of an obsessive disorder where you are obsessed with something. And then usually it's, when you look at addiction, it always has some kind of bad ending. As in, what we are doing, or we know that the consequences is not something that is pleasant or something that is good, but then we end up doing it. Why do we end up doing it? We are doing it because we cannot stop. And then it's not just something like Ibiabeka say, oh, jaye, nanipane jaye. It's more like everything is happening in the person's brain, and then there are a whole lot of factors that are contributing to this. So the person cannot just get up and say, oh, I've stopped. Okay, so the person is addicted to it. They cannot stop doing it. Or do what they are doing. They know that it may be destroying them or it may be destroying their life, but then they cannot stop doing it. Yes.
So you made mention of when you buy phone, there's paper in it, when you buy charger. But when you buy food, there's nothing like paper.
When you buy
food.
When you buy food. Yes, when you buy food.
So does that mean we abuse the food?
No, I think the body's natural way of giving us a manual is when you eat and then you are full, you get to know that at least that's where maybe you burp, or maybe you see that the stomach is full now and then you stop eating. Right. So that's the natural manual that the body has also given us. Yes.
So more specifically, when we talk about drug abuse or drug addiction, what exactly are we referring to?
Okay. So in the first place, we've already explained what abuse is. So now we are coming to combine a drug and then the abuse. We are coming to add it together. So usually, when we look at all these drugs that are in the system, there are things that they are supposed to be used for, even the ones that we do not really pay attention to. So for instance, maybe even alcohol, maybe this weed and all these things. If you go into the medical side, you could see that sometimes they are being used over there. But then when we end up using it for our own purposes and not using it rightly for what we are supposed to use it for, that is where the drug abuse comes in. And then one thing that I've realized that we are all very, very, very guilty of, I think one way or the other, everyone has abused drug before. Because when we are in the house, you could just be there and then your dad or your mom will just call you and be like, oh, there's no prescription, so you are not using the drug in the right way. Okay, so when you are not using it in the right way, this is also an abuse of the drugs. So usually when we say drug abuse, people think, oh, it's maybe cocaine, it's maybe weed, or this popular one, red, and all these things. But then no, sometimes we even abuse paracetamol and all these drugs that are actually prescribed for us to use. So whenever you take a drug and then there's no prescription or no doctor has seen whatever may be wrong with you to say, oh, okay, so you can take this due to your condition. In a form, we are abusing that particular drug that we are taking.
Yes. Someone will also argue that if doctor will prescribe, take 2 paracetamol morning, 2 evening, then if, like you said, I have a headache, I go to drugstore, buy paracetamol, I take 2 in the morning, I take 2 in the evening. I'm not abusing it, am I?
If a doctor says,
if you go to hospital, okay. I'm using as an example, you go to hospital with headache, doctor prescribe paracetamol and tells you go take 2 morning, 2 evening. I am sick, I don't go to hospital, I just go to the drugstore, buy medicine, I take 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. Am I abusing it?
Yes, you are abusing it. Why? Because everyone is different. Even when you look at the fingers, you could see that each and every one of them is a bit different. So maybe the doctor could have seen person A, and then after the diagnosis and everything, the doctor will be like, oh, okay, so due to this condition or due to 1, 2, or 3, it means you have to take 2 paracetamols. Maybe with your case, you are supposed to take just 1. But then because you want, maybe you saw that someone is using 2 and then you also want to take 2, and you end up taking 2. Meanwhile, you are supposed to take 1. You are abusing the drug because that's not the right proportion that you are supposed to take. Yes.
And the drug addiction?
The drug addiction.
Yeah, you've talked about drug abuse. What about the drug addiction?
Yes, so usually whenever people take drugs, it has a lot of things that it does in our body. So let me give you an example. When you see people who abuse these illegal drugs and things, you could see them very happy, they are smiling, they are doing a lot of things, and then you wonder, like, what is exactly funny? But then this is actually altering a lot of things in their head, in their brain and all that, and then it's giving them some kind of good feeling. And then this good feeling is what is actually moving them away from this world. Usually when people abuse drugs, it's because they want to do away with certain things. So if these drugs give them that kind of safe haven or it gives them that comfort, what then do? They continue to abuse it. And then as it gets to a particular time, when they want to do away with it, they cannot stop because they like that feeling that they were going through. So then why do they have to stop? That is where sometimes when they even try to force themselves to do away with it, you see a couple of things like withdrawal symptoms. So when you look at people with drug abuse issues, you could realize if they stop for sometimes, they would be their body would be itching, they could grow, like it's a whole lot. So at this point, they are addicted to it. The drugs is causing a lot of harm to them, but then they cannot stop doing it because of a particular feeling and then a few alterations that has gone on in their minds.
So now I understand. I know a certain old man be also here in San 1956. So the doctor asks him not to, quit just like that. But every day you should take a bottle of the bottle top 1, and he still takes that up to today. From 1956 to now, he has not stopped taking that water. So you're watching Cafdil Healthcare here on Cafdil Television, and we are discussing drug abuse and drug addiction. And I want you to give us kind of statistics, global statistics, Africa, and in Ghana here. What are how does the statistics look like?
Yeah, globally, I would say it's becoming a pandemic. It's everywhere. Drug use is everywhere. Even when we watch movies from US and co, you see people on the street. They have taken drugs, they have taken alcohol, and they are on the streets. So globally, it's something that every country is trying to fight. In Africa, there is a study that Ibrahim and his colleagues conducted just recently, 2024, and they realized that in sub-Saharan Africa, 1/4 of the youth, 1/4 of the people are all into drugs. That is Africa. So imagine 1/4 of the youth, the people that we are all looking up to to become the leaders of our countries, and then they are all going into drugs. So it's becoming something that would have to attend to. And then in Ghana, statistics show that about 14% of the youth are all into drugs.
40%.
14%.
So what is the total percentage of the youth in Ghana?
According to GSS, Ghana Statistical, the past, I think it should be around. It's majority of the population is youth,
and 14% of that.
Yes, they are into drugs, and it's not something that is good for the country.
Do you have that of Central Region?
Specifically, studies in that regions, and it's not really available.
Okay. So they just did the one only Ghana.
Sure.
But I thought sometimes when they do some statistics like survey like that, they do region by region. So for example, if we talk about teenage pregnancy, we got to know that Central Region was leading, right?
Yeah.
And if you come to Central Region, KE was first leading.
Yeah.
So we have that kind of, district, regional.
You know how to deal with these people, the addicts. It's difficult to engage them. Yes. So to have an organized study with the ghetto people and co is very difficult. That's why sometimes the statistics is hard to come by. And most of these youth were between 15, 17, 18. They are very young, and they've gone into drugs. So it's very it's worrisome.
Brianna.
Hello, sir.
Nothing happens. There's no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
There should be a cause. So what typically causes someone to fall into drug abuse or addiction? Are we talking about peer pressure? Are we talking about mental health? Are we talking about socioeconomic conditions? Or is it a mix of factors?
There are a lot of factors that bring about this drug abuse. But to me, one that should be leading should be the environment you find yourself in, social environment you find yourself in. For instance, if you go to Accra, we have some places you go and meet people smoking, so automatically if you
become a smoker.
No. And if you are bred there, you will learn from them, as we learn through experience and vision, and you learn. So if you don't do it, I think you become so odd. That's the norm of the day over there. That's for the social factor. We have negative peer pressure, and maybe I'm in a circle. All my friends use this drug. If I don't use it, I'll fall out of place. So I would use it to be part of them. We also have, I think, easy accessibility. I think that's also a factor, because if these drugs are gotten easily, people would like to use it and abuse it. Yes, my brother told me a story once. He's in Leg currently. He went there.
What is Leg?
I mean, University of
Ghana,
yeah.
Legon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He went there. He's new, so he didn't know the place. All of a sudden, boys approaching. They are selling drugs. This, that. Hey, at that moment, they come to sell drugs to him. So you see first year. See how accessible these drugs are, so people can tend to please them.
Oh, okay. So peer pressure. You made mention negative.
Negative, because
but you have positive one.
We have positive.
What does the
pressure.
positive one do?
The positive peer pressure. Let's say I'm in a group. They are all business minded. They'll pull me, Brianna, let's go and do some business. That's positive peer pressure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So mix of factors, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
Oh yeah, and then we're also supposed to watch our social people, the big people in our when we look at our social environment.
When you made mention of big people, who are you
for
referring
instance, there's musicians and all these things, because
okay. They have followers.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because if we are looking at this current trend, which is the winning red issue, this drug, so a musician made a song, and then he was just singing, and then one guy just caught onto it. And then he was so into the song, and then when he got to that part, the guy was like, win him red. And then this sort of sparked, oh, what's this red? What's this red? So all of a sudden the thing just went boom. And then everyone is talking about winning red. And then you know how curious we are. Everyone wants to see, oh, so this is the red, oh, this is, and then all of a sudden, everywhere you pass, winning red. So yeah, all of a sudden, everywhere you pass, red CC, everyone is on it, winning red. So in a way, it's like they are advertising this
red
drug to everyone. Okay, yes.
Yesterday, you see, if you go to secondary school, it's very pathetic. That's where most of our youth are.
Yeah.
And they've jumped into this kind of red thing that we'll come to that later. but are there, let me come to you, are there any warning signs, or common symptoms that might indicate someone is struggling with substance abuse or addiction?
Yeah, there are a lot of them. The first one is withdrawal and avoidance. So someone who is not into drugs, he's your friend. You are not into drugs, he's also not into drugs. So you click. Once he or she starts taking drugs, he starts avoiding you. He starts to withdraw himself from you. Yes. They start because some of the drugs.
Is it because of Sherida or because he has started something which is unusual of the two?
Of course. So on the papa, I want kasana in an engine to.
Okay.
Auntie, obey you because. Obiayim de onyada papa. Adibia yesi bia chere wankasa wadwum no kwanyim de onyada papa onyada wajatu. Yeah. So such a person will start avoiding you, withdrawing, not only from friends, from parents, from their family. They can coil into their shells in the room. They can stay inside because maybe I want name way change. In you will start asking questions. What is wrong with you? So they will avoid. Some of the drugs can alter the person's consciousness. Inti ebi ayona nkesempo na o feel do oba withdraw, but it's just a drug that is inti ebi abokwa kwese bibi na wada why lethargic unto move no movement in asesa. When you see the person, you know that he is into something. Yeah, so they will also affect one appearance, one dressing. They start dressing shabbily. They start being unkempt. Obi wa no from podo onsro on it no denam. No way for that time wash and why if. So there are a lot of signs that you will see when someone starts taking drugs.
Oh, okay. So would you want to add on, Brianna?
Yeah, I also think mood swings. Yeah, because normally all of us we have mood swings, but yes, it's so excessive. Today you see them happy, tomorrow they are sad, tomorrow they are crying because of the drugs. The drugs have an effect on them. That's why.
Have you come in contact with ladies who are into drugs before?
Ladies. No,
right.
Because of why I associate myself.
Would you also want to add?
Oh yeah, so looking at the physical side also, usually such people, they just care about the drugs that they want to be taking, so they don't really take care of their bodies. So even food they don't want to eat. You could they just want to, the drug is sort of, they feel the drug is enough for them. So you could see they may be looking very lean and then unhealthy and all that. Yeah. So physically you could see from them. And then because they are, as I said, they are just focused on just the drugs, even bathing and taking very good care of themselves. They hardly care about those things. Yes.
You're still watching Cafdil Healthcare on Cafdil Television. I'm hoping that you follow us on our social media handles, Facebook Cafdil Cape Coast, and also on YouTube Cafdil EDU. Dave, you brought in this thing. Let me also ask you. Recently, there's been a lot of concern about the rise in the use of quote and unquote red, right, among Ghanaian youth. In your profession or professional opinion, what do you think is fueling this trend? Okay,
so looking at what is fueling this trend, I think my sister made mention of one when she said it's readily available. So and it's as if everywhere you go, you could just instantly get it. And currently the youth are not even hiding it anymore. First, I think the youth were really scared to show the world that they were into this, they were doing this, they were doing. But then currently, it's as if no one is afraid of anyone anymore. What's this example when Obianaba, Kutiani Panabana, and Shana Nimami when you are fight and baby. So it's like currently everyone is doing what they want. So when we are looking at the readily available side, it's easily accessible, and then no one is actually checking anyone. And then yes, the peer influence too. People want to belong to groups. So whenever they see their colleagues, maybe they are doing it because they don't want to be pushed away from the particular group that they are in. They also tend to be like, oh, Charlie, and so maybe so that I'll feel belonged to this particular group. And yes, I'm because of Mayfi group, and then I don't want to be left out of whatever is going on. So yes, those two things are actually a major factor that is contributing to the rise of this abuse of drugs.
I was going to ask, where do they get those things, those medicine? Before medicine can get into this country, but it has to pass through certain certified, offices or areas like FDA's approval and stuff. Where is this coming from? Why is it readily available? Why is it so accessible?
So most of the drugs that people abuse, it's not like they are not supposed to be used. They use them, especially at the hospital, but because of its addictive behaviors, you have to buy it with prescription. So the drug stores, the chemical sellers, if you don't have prescription, they are not supposed to sell it to you. But because of, we all know Ghana, money and stuff, they will even sell it to any other person without asking for prescription. So it's not illegal that you would say that they shouldn't come into the country. It's medicine that they use. Tramol is used at the hospital when someone is in severe pain, and so Tramol is not illegal. It's not a drug that you can't use. You can use it. Is used for treating pain, for pain management. But you have to get it with prescription. A doctor should prescribe it for you. A doctor should tell you how you should take it. So it's not like illegal. So they can come into the country.
Yes, but there are other some medicines are sold by pharmacy. But not drugstore. But at the same time, when you go to some drugstores, you get the same medicine. Why is it that they are not going around to check all these things? I think I have to get the FDA.
Probably it's their duty to go around and check who is supposed to sell it, who is not supposed to sell it, and are they taking prescription before selling it. I think sometimes they go around. They've been checking on some of the people, and there have been some 1 or 2 arrests of the chemical sellers and co. And that's what my brother said is available, and because of publicity, my first time hearing of Red was on the television. I didn't know there was a medicine called Red. So now, because I know, I think other people also know. They saw it on the TV, and curiosity, they want to know what it does, so they will take it to experience it. So that is what.
So which means social media play a major role.
Yes.
In dealing with this.
Certainly. So
can't we also get someone like you, professionals, to also use the same social media to counter or to let people also know that this is the consequences if you abuse it?
Oh yes, there are platforms like that, but I think most of the time we are not really focused that much on that side. We enjoy entertainment and the other ones more, and usually the educational side and the things we don't really pay much attention or invest more into it. So, but like I said earlier on, everyone is different, and then usually when you look at psychology, it's a bit of a give and take. It's not like I have to show you what you do, I have to show you what to do. So the person that is going through that particular situation or condition is supposed to be readily available to be helped, because you could try to help this person and then this person doesn't want to be helped and it won't work. So it's supposed to be more of a collective effort where the psychologist is bringing his part, and then the client or the patient is also ready or willing to accept whatever you may be bringing to them. So that sometimes determines the duration as to how long it's going to take, and then how fast your recovery process is going to be.
What about the treatment options? Which of them are available?
So you asked of if an addict can fully recover.
Yeah, fully recover.
An addict can fully recover, and an addict can fully relapse too. Yes, both. You can fully recover, you can fully relapse. So the first step for management or treatment, mostly we use the term management because it takes a longer time to treat someone. So you manage the condition until probably it is at the minimum level. Yeah. So we usually see managing. Yeah. So the first step is for the person to accept that I am in this situation and I want to get out of it.
So acceptance is the very first
It's
thing, which
key.
is very also
Yes.
key.
The person should accept it. Otherwise, whatever you do for the person, it will pass here
Right.
and leave here. Yeah. So we have a lot of treatment options. When you after accepting it, then it means that you have to take the move to see a professional, a therapist, a psychologist, a counselor, people who can help you. Yes. So when you go based on your level, how often you use it, how frequent you use it, the length of usage, they will develop treatment plans for you. Some would need to be admitted at the rehab centers for quite a number of months. Some would need detoxification. So it depends on your level of usage. Then treatment plans will be developed for you.
I'm happy to hear that they can fully recover.
Yeah.
Happy. Okay, but you see, when you are addicted, some family or some community or some family decide to also withdraw from you. They withdraw from you and stuff. So I want to know whether there are community-based or family interventions that have proven effective in supporting addicts during recovery.
Yes, the family is very key in the treatment or management of addicts, because when they feel accepted, when they feel they are not being judged by their situation, then it means that they have the comfort to, because it's not easy to just stop taking something. Withdrawal symptoms will set in, and during that period they will need the support from the family. They will need support from friends, siblings. So family is very key in that aspect. Yeah. And we have a lot of community-based, so we have narcotics, we have a lot of groups, Narcotics Anonymous, Substance Use Anonymous, Alcoholic Anonymous. There are people that they are in the same situation, so they form groups and then they meet, they can discuss what they are going through, they share experiences, and they get the support from some of these groups aside the family. Yeah.
So they're able to recover.
Yeah.
When they have formed the, is it those who have recovered from those situations from the group, or those who are in the situation from the group?
Those who have already recovered, those who want to recover, those who are in the process.
Okay.
Because let's say I've been in drugs for just 2 years, I want to stop, and the four of us, we are supposed to share our experiences, and you tell me you've used the drugs for 20 years, you were able to stop. At least it will motivate me that in the immediate 2 years in the
you can stop easily.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Dave, from your experience, how important is early intervention? Because which means there are certain things that you need not to delay about. So how important is early intervention when it comes to helping someone battling this addiction?
Oh, okay. So I'll give an example. Let's take a virus, for instance. When a virus is detected very early, and then you give that person medications and all that, this helps to suppress the virus. And then when this happens, it means the virus is unable to grow and then find its roots and then build its whatever in the system. So just like a virus, when you are able to detect something of the sort very early, it means the person has not really gone deep so much into it. So it means the recovering process is going to be a bit quicker compared to someone who has really gone deep into it, because at this point in time the roots and everything has been formed in that person's body, so it's very difficult. Let's take for instance, if you plant a small tomato over here and then it's like 3 months or something, and then you are uprooting it, it's very easy when you just take it out. But then take for instance a tree that has grown for 50 years and then all of a sudden you want to take it out. It's very, very difficult. So if we are able to determine whatever is happening early, it's easier compared to when it's grown its wings and then all the roots over there. Yes. So the early detection is very, very important. When you detect it early, then you're able to solve it before it becomes a major or big problem in the body.
All right. That is even if you would first accept that you are addicted.
Yes.
So somebody can be on drugs for so many years. If the person has not accepted that, no, I'm abusing, I'm addicted and stuff, and continues, which means it will be hard for the person to recover. Okay.
So acceptance is very, very key to everything that happens over here.
You made mention of relapse, right?
Sure.
So how common is it, and how can it be managed as part of long-term recovery? Because in Pana relapse, in the process of recovery now, I want to know, as a no corner, I don't know what's not for you.
It's not even in the process of recovery. We recover
fully.
We recover fully. We stay clean. That's the term that they use. They've stayed clean for 20 years, 30 years.
What's that?
Just one click.
Okay.
Oh, I did my no only we could try one thought. We try one thought on the thought and I did I'm for count. So before I realize now the person is back in the situation that he was in.
But is it common?
It's very common. It's very, very common. If you are not very disciplined, you would go back into addiction very easily.
So how then can we manage it?
So most of the times after recovery or after the treatment, we ask if you can change your environment. Probably you are staying close to beer bars, and your environment, your friends, your circle, they are all into alcohol or drugs. And right from the rehab center, you are going back into the same environment, the same society, which means that the alcohol is readily available. Your friends who are promoting it, they are also there, and then they will be tempting you with it. If you are not very disciplined, you go back.
Brianna, do you have some in your area?
No.
You don't have?
No.
So if you meet such a person, what are you going to tell the person? Relapse. Somebody who has recovered, like he said, and you see the person going back to certain, what are you going to tell the person?
I'll tell the person, at first you're getting better. You see what you've done, right? You're going back. You're going back. So that means treatment will become much difficult right now.
Yes. Exactly. You've brought in. So, like that is exactly what I wanted to. When the person goes back, how is the treatment like? Is it like before, or is it going to be more difficult than before?
Sometimes it's more difficult because, like, then it's like you are going to start all over. It depends on or relapse na not back there is difficult. But while relapse we use drugs now for another set of years and on the things you are going to start from the scratch. I want to know your family, what judging, because it's not easy to take someone to the rehab center. Sure. It's quite expensive, especially the ones that they admit them. It's like going for school. Accommodation, feeding, the drugs that you take to detoxify the body and co. Obviously, we use drugs now change affect, especially alcohol. The more you use it, your liver, your kidney, all of them will be affected.
1 year.
So if you want to stop, it means 2 treatments at a time. You quitting the addiction at the same time. They have to treat the physical conditions that you've gone into. Imagine one more drugs, then you are repairing your liver, your kidney. After some years, you go back into the drugs. It means that as an aquifer issues are baby. So during that period, the family is very, very important. You got a neglect and support and family, or get to see so beyond that same support. Yes. The honor no man kofu per get to send if you know, because if you know what judge, the family will judge the person. Give me money. They will tell you that if I give you the money, you will go and use it to buy drug. So I will not give you the money. But the same drug, oko get her.
When free.
Osimanu, that's their terms. Yeah, so the family is very important for the person not to go back into or relapse. The family is very, very important. We should give them constant reminders that we are with you, we can do it, you can stay out. All of that will help.
You also talk about the changing of environment, which means so environment no change. You ahead and you, the family would have to contribute support, and rent.
Exactly.
Okay, for the person. Anyway, our time is drawing nearer, and I have only 2 questions to ask. But let me first come to you. What message would you like to share with families of those currently struggling with addiction?
Okay. So I would like to say, in the first place, those people who are going through that particular situation are not really having it very easy. So what we can do, or the best thing we can do, is to try and then to support them as a family, but not rather push them away. Because just like my brother said, when you push them away, they might go back to where they were trying to move away from, and then this time it will become intense because they've been accepted there, and then they may see that kind of environment as their new home, because that is where they find comfort. When they come to their families, they are rather being judged, like, hey, you are this, hey, why they, how you are that. So yes, we are supposed to try and accept them, and then we are supposed to try and support them as well, because it's not easy at all for them like we think it is. It's not easy. So all we can do is to try and support them.
Okay.
Werner.
For me, I think they should stay informed, and they should be abreast with what is going on. So if you are abreast with what is going, for instance, they're red, you will know, oh, this drug is no good, so you're going to take it. After all, prevention is the first key. I mean, information is the
first key.
Yeah.
So finally, what general advice, let me start from you, do you have for the public, and especially our youth, because they are much involved into this, when it comes to preventing drug abuse and maintaining mental wellness? What advice would you have for them?
Okay, so there is a thin line between promoting the drug usage and then education. So what we see on the television sometimes is just for education purposes. It's not like telling you to go and use it. So when they see it on the television, when they see what people are going through, sometimes it's just for you to see that it is not good. When they bring videos of people who have taken red and they are lethargic, they can't move. I saw one that the person's face was in the soup that was on fire. Yeah, it was like oil and quantity. Why then it's a question because of the drug.
But I'm
question. The same drug heat and urban at least, although preventing more unity, but still need to question
no until heat.
So when you see such videos, it's just for you to get informed that this is what the drug can lead you into. It's not for you to go and taste it or go and try and see what Obiana ne physique, everybody and the way they were made. So you're going to take it, you will not know what will happen to you. So for instance, weed, Obiana weed for so many number of years. Obi catching one puff. No,
one day.
Puff. Them no
offend.
One puff. And what time sending to Ochokra
okay.
So you should just stay informed. We should know what the drugs can do and what they cannot do. So I would advise that the youth should stay out of the drugs. If you have not started, don't try. Because it is very addictive. So if you have not started, don't try at all. So that's my advice to the youth.
All right. This is where time will allow us to be with you. You heard Alfred Esel. He's a clinical health psychologist, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Brianna Ama, also psychology student, Cape Coast University or University of Cape Coast. And also Dave, also clinical, is a health educator at Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Thank you for watching. Thanks to all the crew. Same time next week. My name is Kojo Arthur. God be with you till we meet again.